Hey, what is going on, guys? This is SMEV Reviews, and today we are taking a look at the Comeback EP from Iggy Azalea, Survive the Summer. Let's get to it. I say that this is a comeback album, and I say that very lightly. Really, all it is she's just starting to actually make a more full-length project. She's released the occasional single here and there, but she hasn't actually had an album since 2014. So this is the first actual release of any sorts that we've got from her, and honestly, did anyone really miss Iggy Azalea? Sure, she's not the worst artist. She's inoffensive at best. I know she's gotten a lot of trouble with her accent that she'll put on. But honestly, from just a pure music point of view, it's inoffensive enough. I don't hate her, but really it's nothing to write home about. And usually it's pretty stupid and cheesy. But hey, so is a lot of pop music. Whatever. It could be a lot worse. But honestly, I just was not looking forward to the comeback of Iggy Azalea. And yet, here we are, Survive the Summer EP, 6 songs and only like about 16 minutes. It's a very, very short EP. And honestly, it really does go by very quickly. But yet, when you listen to it, it seems rather drawn out and a little too overbloated. And I think a lot of that comes from very similar music styles and very similar production. Honestly, the whole EP sounds very minimalistic. It's got a lot of that trap, snares, percussion, and then a lot of really uninspired and rather familiar sounding synthetic beats, or synthetic tones that we hear in a lot of other hip hop. And it's just truly nothing new. It really doesn't give us anything to really listen to. Yes, it's not terrible. I've definitely heard worse. But it's a complete write-off. And while the music may not be terrible, the part that really upsets me is that she was slammed over and over by multiple critics and peers in the music industry. And so I thought that this comeback EP might actually be making a statement, might be trying to say something and trying to take a punch back at them. And while I'm not necessarily on Iggy Azalea's side, at least I thought that this would have some bite to it and be something interesting and intriguing of her responding to those critics. And it really, really was not. It's just brag rap. It's boring brag rap that just basically relies on her sex appeal, and that is it. That's what she's relying on. She focuses primarily on talking about her in a sexual light and trying to brag about that, trying to brag about her success and her success in that realm. And honestly, it's just so overused in music, but she had such a perfect opportunity. This is very similar, honestly, to Scorpion by Drake. Something that he could have lashed out and fought back. And while, again, I was not really on Drake's side in his argument between Pusha T, at least we might have got something biting, something that he could have actually added some sting to and some interesting flavor to it. Instead, he just did his normal Drake thing. Maybe in 1 or 2 lines he addressed the problem, but he just did the normal, boring Drake thing about feeling sad for himself. And this is what we get in this project. This is what Iggy Azalea has always done. It's always been about this topic, either about bragging or talking about herself in a sexual light. It's always about that with her music. Maybe every now and then we get a slightly different concept. But even in songs on this EP that might not be solely focused on that, it's constantly thrown in talking about herself sexually. It's so overloaded with those metaphors and those comparisons. And honestly, Iggy Azalea had such a shot to do something interesting with this, and yet she just totally floundered it and released a boring EP. At least OMG featuring Wiz Khalifa at least has a little different production. It's not just the same boring, dark and drippy sounding production. It's something that I'm so tired of in hip-hop music, in trap music specifically. And while it can work, honestly, while Kids See Ghosts was not one of my favorite projects, it at least had some good production in that sense. But yeah, most of this album is just riddled with that terrible, slow, and sticky production. At least that song's a little different, a little more upbeat. It's still not good, but yeah, it's at least got something a little different. Besides that, honestly, there's just not much to talk about here. It's just very, very boring production-wise, and Iggy Azalea has some of the weirdest delivery on some of these. Just such untraditional senses of how to establish a melody and how to deliver her voice. It just completely can disrupt a song, especially in the title track, Survive the Summer. She completely disrupts a song with a very, very off-kilter delivery. Near the end of the song, it's just completely disrupted with her very off-key even, singing last as well as an expletive, and it just does not work. This is an album that she really could have done more with, and I just did not get it with this album. Yes, genuinely, it's not that bad, but it's just the missed potential that she had. She could have done something, and while probably still would not have been great, at least she would have capitalized on the situation. And so, just looking at it through that cultural lens, it takes a big hit, because really all she does is continue to do the same thing that she had always been criticized for until she took her big break. And so there's really no personal growth or musical growth. It's just another Iggy Azalea album that came out 4 years after the last one. It just does not make sense. It's, yeah, a 4 out of 10. That's the best I can do. Thank you guys so much for watching. What did you guys think of this album? Please let me know down below. Also, I do really like checking out albums that you guys like, so please recommend anything. Unfortunately for my schedule, it's been very difficult for me to actually do what has been recommended, because by the time, first, I'm only getting out really one review a week, and I like to try to keep it updated weekly. Like, I don't like to do anything from the past week unless I just absolutely have nothing to do. And honestly, recently, if I was going to have a chance, I had already started listening. Like last week, I was hoping to get the Hailstorm review out, and it just did not work, and I'm really sorry about that. But I had already started listening to Hailstorm prior to even releasing the video for the review I actually did do. So, yeah, it's just, I do like checking out albums, but it is sometimes difficult for me. But if you guys have any upcoming, like in future weeks, that you'd like me to check out, I definitely can add those to a schedule and make sure that they get out for you guys and make sure they are the top priority. Sorry though, like I said, about sometimes being a little spotty. But off that tangent, if you want to follow me on Twitter, I do sometimes give updates, even though I'm with this new schedule, it's been very hard for me to do that. Luckily, this will be fixed in probably a couple weeks. But besides that, thank you guys so much for watching this video. It really does mean a lot, and I'll see you guys later.